and Louie Gohmert is on the phone. Is he there? Congressman?
Hey, Glenn.
How are you, sir?
Well, better since you're there helping to stir up the people.
You have you gave a great speech on the floor of the House Wednesday night, and you were the most viewed item on the Blaze all day yesterday. I don't know if you know that.
Well, Keith had let me know that. I was actually shocked because I left the floor feeling empty. I didn't feel that good about it. I just, like you're just so brokenhearted, and you see what's happening and what we're not getting done.
The House voted yesterday 329 to 91 for a 6-month continuing resolution to maintain government spending at just over $1 trillion. Alan West voted for it. Paul Ryan voted for it. You did not?
I left brokenhearted over that. Glenn, that CR, continuing spending at the same level, means that after the biggest wave election since the 1930s, 87 conservative freshmen come in. That means we will have gone 2 years with this great group of freshmen, the new majority, and have cut nothing. How can you feel good about that?
So, is there any chance of defunding Egypt and defunding the aid that we're sending to Libya and Egypt?
The last hope for really effectively doing that is in the Senate. Rand Paul and Jim Inhofe in particular are demanding that they not pass their CR until they specifically include language that says money will not go there. At least suspend the money until we have a verified certain ally in those countries, which we don't, as you know. And our Republican leadership is saying, hey, we don't have to worry because, we put specific language in our appropriations that will carry over that says, you've got to meet these requirements to get money. Glenn, we just saw Hillary Clinton in the last month come back and say, no, we're going to give Egypt a waiver from those requirements. So it's a little empty to be saying, yeah, we've got language in the existing legislation that will make sure they don't get it if they don't deserve it. Kind of like Solyndra.
Representative Louie Gohmert from Texas, one of the only guys who, I shouldn't say that. There's several of you now.
There are a bunch of good guys.
Yeah, a bunch of good guys, but you have been there for a while, and you're holding the line. The news has come out now that the State Department and the president had the information that we were going to be hit 48 hours before we were hit. So what did you know and when did you know it? 48 hours before. They did nothing to secure any of the embassies. They didn't alert the embassies nor the ambassadors, including the ambassador that was traveling back coming into Libya. They didn't alert him. They obviously killed him. Reports from the Middle East now are that he was sodomized before they killed him. And then they got our basic knock list. They got our list of our safe houses, and they got a list of those who are helping us. Can you tell me, is there anybody in Washington that has a concern that the President of the United States and our State Department knew about this in advance and did nothing?
Well, yes, there's a bunch of us that are, but getting that to manifest itself in actual legislation seems a little difficult because, we don't want to raise too big a fuss, Glenn. I mean, golly, you know about this. There are consequences if you stand up for what you believe. Heck, you might lose your sponsors if you're a talk show host, or if you're running for office, people might not give to you, or people might not vote for you. And in fact, Glenn, the number one thing that we heard during orientation 8 years ago when I got elected, and it was true in both parties, other people and Democrats said that we were taught, drilled into us, the best thing you can do for your country is get reelected. And it made me mad every time I heard it because sometimes, you know what, you just may have to take a stand for the good of the country, the good of the future, and it may cost you. But then as you have found, but when you do that, God can work things together for good. It may hurt for a little bit, but by golly, there will be something better come down the road. And those of us that know that are not afraid to stand up no matter what happens, but there are not enough people, obviously, that are doing that yet.
If you don't have enemies, you don't have character.
Well, my chief of staff says, well, you're over the target again because you're picking up a lot of flack.
Well, what can the American people do? Should they call their senators or?
Absolutely. Everybody that has a concern needs to call both of your senators and tell them, you call your leadership in both parties, Republican and Democrat, you call your leaders and say, hey, Rand Paul and Jim Inhofe are right, and we should not let any more money go to these countries. Not for now. This is too important. And, the message that goes out is that we may look strong on our school grounds, but we are scared of the bullies, and we will pay these little bitty bullies just to try to leave us alone. We'll give them our lunch money. And that never worked in elementary school. It doesn't work in the big world when they're killing our people, our servants, our public servants like Stevens. I mean, it's an outrage, and people need to be upset. But you got to give it to the president. Here you have 4 people killed in the line of duty when they didn't even warn them. And he does bother to take a minute and a half from his busy campaign and fundraising out in Las Vegas and say, hey, it's been a tough week there. We lost some people in the Middle East. All right, now back to the big celebration of how great I am. You got to give it to him. He did pause long enough to pay a little tribute to those folks.
Louie Gohmert, the representative from Texas in Congress. The number, by the way, to call your senators, 202-224-3121, 202-224-3121. Tell them not another dime to Egypt and to Libya. We are on the wrong side. And the president and I believe the State Department know it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Louie, thank you.
Glenn, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
You.
God bless.
God bless you.
All right.